I want to dip into US politics again for reasons that will become clear. Donald Trump has held another briefing session and there was lots to talk about besides the ongoing pandemic crisis. The US has shut down a Chinese consulate in Houston over spying claims, and the president is sending more federal agents into Democrat-run cities to help restore law and order. But to my mind, the most telling development of the past 24 hours was an intervention by Joe Biden. As usual, the Democrat presidential candidate wasn't taking questions at a press conference. This was a strictly controlled online forum. And have a look at his attack on Donald Trump.
I genuinely mean it. And what President Trump has done in going his spreading of racism, the way he deals with people based on the color of their skin, their national origin, where they're from, is absolutely sickening. No sitting president has ever done this. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democratic president. We have racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has. And the way he pits people against one another is all designed to divide the country, divide people, not put them together.
This is incendiary stuff, especially given the riots and violence in the US over recent weeks. Now, we all know Trump can be divisive and mocking in his political attacks, and he's often called out for it. But this shouldn't mean that Biden gets a leave pass. Labelling a president racist is an extreme and divisive claim, and it's the sort of political attack that demands clear and irrefutable evidence. Strict immigration pauses on countries with terrorism problems doesn't qualify as racism, for instance. Building a wall to control a border that presidents of all parties have always tried to secure doesn't qualify as racism either. And neither does mocking a political opponent who built a political career on a Native American identity that never existed. But have a look at Joe Biden's latest evidence of racism against Trump. He says it's about him talking and acting decisively and stridently against China. And it also involves a patronising assessment of how the American public grasps these issues.
And look what he's doing now. He's blaming everything on China. He's blaming everything on the Chinese. He's blaming everything, and people don't make a distinction. As you well know, when a South Korean and someone from Beijing, they make no distinction. It's Asia. And that's the way he's just using it as a wedge.
Biden thinks voters can't tell one country, one nationality, one language or ethnicity from another. Why do these leftist candidates always have such a low opinion of voters? Voters are not fools. To the extent they need to, they know the difference between nationalities. They also know the difference between standing up to an aggressive and authoritarian communist government and taking it out on a race of people. This is a sad new low in the US political debate. Here's how Donald Trump responded.
I've done more for Black Americans than anybody, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. Nobody has even been close.
Well, there you go. Typical Trump hyperbole. He's no Abraham Lincoln. But pre-pandemic, it is true, his achievements on job creation for disadvantaged minorities was a core strength. Still, the pandemic has undercut those economic achievements and transformed the electoral contest.